I was certified in January when I joined the program, and 3 weeks later I was certified. The first week of February I passed my certification, and in those 3 weeks I joined the study groups that we had. Anita was hosting at that stage, and it was at this point that I remember being very quiet in the initial sessions when we went through the quizzes and everybody was laughing and sharing stories, and that's when we started to build rapport. It was really a group thing, and I was encouraged to come back the next week for the next session, and that's when we built interaction between each other, and that's when I really felt that the support of the group came through. It was we all cheered for each other and encouraged each other, and we could tell by each other's results in those quizzes who was ready to sit for the exam. We all know that there are a lot of resources out there for Salesforce. The Ohana is large and people freely share their information. So I knew that there was a lot of resources. I had been following different things on YouTube, different programs. But for me, I was really missing the interaction. So initially my doubt was the investment. What could I get from it that I couldn't get for free as I already had been doing? But then I realized I wasn't moving forward as quickly as I wanted to, and I didn't have clear steps. That's what I was really lacking. So the investment in Salesforce to that point had been, other than my time and my energy, there really hadn't been any financial input. And for what the investment is in Talent Stacker, it was very minimal compared to other courses or classes that somebody might take. So I really thought that knowing that there was going to be a step-by-step process, as well as the support from other people within the group, that's where, for me, the value was. That's what I could see helping. One company in particular that I was really interested in, I didn't manage to speak with them till the end of the day, and it was very brief, but we made a connection, and at that point I connected through LinkedIn with the people who I had spoken to and sent through my resume. At that point I wasn't certified in January when we made that initial connection, but we kept in contact, and then as soon as I was certified in February I reached out again, and that was when we had our first interview. That was in the middle of February, and it was 4 weeks later. I had 2 more interviews. It was 4 weeks later that I got the phone call and offered the job position, and by the end of March I was working. It's 3 months later now that almost 3 months that I've been in my position. I'm working with some amazing people, and the follow-on from the discussion of the Salesforce Ohana is so true. I've had nothing but people within my company being helpful. They reach out, they share my workload, they share different projects, different aspects of the implementations and things that we do, and they're exposing me to so many different areas of Salesforce and how it works for our clients. For me, this position is so amazing because I have so many opportunities to learn and nothing but encouragement and support. Like, they're amazing people. I feel truly lucky because I know not everybody has that experience, especially in their first job. I really feel like I lucked out. My role has been varied. I started initially where you review documents and processes, and was brought in to be an observer on projects. So I was getting the first-hand view of how workshops, how they work and what it involves, and what it actually means to do business requirements gathering, and how we do our documentations, and how this might be put forward on a Jira board, and how a Lucid chart is used for your solutioning. And 3 months ago, most of those words that I just said meant absolutely nothing to me. And now I understand the processes. So that's been a wonderful introduction into what a business analyst does. We've also worked on technical documentation. I've put together a deck for workshops, for a training presentation, client training. That's another workshop that I've done. I just am exposed to so many different areas. It's like nothing. I knew that there was more that I would be learning very quickly working for a partner as opposed to an administrator position that might be just working with one company and doing all of the day-to-day stuff that they need. I knew that it was going to be hard and fast moving into this kind of role, and it was exactly what I hoped for. The volunteer group was 100% worth it, like the project that we worked on and the experience that I garnered from it. And these were also really interesting topics that were discussed in any of the interviews that I had. I'm sure that every company that I interviewed with did bring up the talent stacker and what the program involved, and they also asked about any projects that we worked on. So it was definitely a help in finding my first position. My journey really with Salesforce only started at the very end of October, so it's not even 7 months from that beginning position to where I am now. And it was 3 months that I did it by myself, thinking, okay, just keep plowing ahead. You could, in the grand scheme of things, 6 months is not a long time to train from start to finish, not just being at the finish point, but being 3 months into a job. And the only advice that I give other people now, and I wish I'd known back then, was to jump feet first all the way in if that's your decision. And if I had have joined Talent Stacker back in November when I first started, possibly I would have had my job sooner. And I mean, financially, that would have been a wonderful thing. But I'm just glad I didn't wait any longer, because look at where I am now.